Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Thursday, November 25, 2021. The sun is in Sagittarius today, and when this is the case, we all take on, to some degree, the traits of the Sagittarius Sun. Sagittarius is our mutable fire sign. Mutable means changeable, and the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, are generally open to changing up the plan and trying something new or different. The fire element's effect on this trait creates a lust for adventure, excitement, and fresh learning. The downside of a mutable fire influence is that we may become easily bored and restless when things aren't so stimulating. Fire also influences us to be more interested in ourselves than the people around us. And this selfish or self-loving energy affects everyone a little bit differently. I think it's really important to focus on ourselves sometimes, and let's be careful not to exclude those people that bring connection and support to our lives. The moon is in Leo all day today. Leo is our fixed fire sign. So think enthusiasm plus diligence. In our hearts and homes, we feel charming, generous, and eager to connect and celebrate with our loved ones. Okay, let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. I've prepared a legend of the symbols we'll be looking at today so that we can start with an idea of some of the energies that are at play. As always and forever, at the top of the list is the sun. The sun represents our outer life. That is who we are out in the world in our social, civic, and work spheres. How we relate to people when we're not at home, when we're out in the world. The moon is also here, and the moon represents our inner life. This is our relationship with ourselves, our thoughts, feelings, and intuitions. And it also relates to where we are at home, who we are when we are at home, and whom we are at home with. That's our domestic life, which relates also to our inner life and the moon. Saturn is on the page today. Saturn represents those structures that we maintain around us for our own support and our responsibility to maintain those structures. Uranus is also here. Uranus comes around and asks us to do things differently, and so brings about a lot of change in our lives. But it's really just the day-to-day changes that, help us to streamline the way we do things, not necessarily those deep transformational changes that Pluto brings. And we have Mars on the page today. Mars represents our sense of initiative, our personal fire, our get up and go. As for the aspects that we'll encounter today, we only have two. There's an opposition. And opposition represents the potential for conflict, but also an opportunity to find the balance. And then we have a couple of squares here. Square represents the potential for challenges. And these are really often just the kind of challenges that we notice, like a stop sign. We stop at the stop sign. We look around, make sure everything's okay, and we move on with our lives, okay? Of mention in the signs today, the signs that we'll be mentioning today, Sagittarius, Leo, and Virgo. So I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our nights, and it moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may produce moods and other internal experiences for us throughout the course of the day. The sun sheds light on our days, and I address the rest of the planets on this side because these aspects take longer and they have more of an impact on our actions and interactions out in the world. We start with the moon today. Central Standard Times, friends. Guess I have a little bit of a stutter today. I hope you'll bear with me. 2:51 a.m. Moon runs in opposition to Saturn. This aspect is likely to have us feeling a bit restricted or trapped, especially when it comes to emotions or domestic affairs. It's influence last about 2 hours. Feeling restricted. Not actual restriction, but feelings. Then at 9:32 a.m., the moon runs square with Mars. When the moon makes aspect with Mars, we run the risk of feeling... Oh, that's incorrect. Pardon me. We'll get to the moon with square Mars. The moon at 9:32 a.m. moon runs square with Uranus. We have the urge to try something different in regards to our emotions or our domestic space, but we may be met with some resistance. So communicate and collaborate, or else give it some time. This is another 2-hour aspect. Try something different. Possible resistance. Just like the resistance I just came up against trying to read too far down the page. And then at 9:19 p.m., the moon makes a square with Mars. So when the moon makes aspect with Mars, we run the risk of feeling short-tempered or impatient. We know what we want, but in acting to get it, we may step on someone else's plans. This looks to me like another invitation to communicate and collaborate. Feeling and acting without also thinking has led me into trouble about 1,000,000 times. Patience is a practice for this 2-hour aspect. So today's lunar energy signature is one of restlessness and impatience. We can make changes and act on our desires, but we may have some trouble with the people around us. These energies affect everyone a little bit differently. If you're curious and you want more clues, check the natal placements of Saturn, Uranus, and Mars in your birth chart. It can say a lot about what we're really struggling with when these things come up. As for the sun side of the page, there is not much going on this side today. I do want to make mention that Mercury entered Sagittarius yesterday, and I'll keep this Mercury and Sag symbol up here in the corner just as a reminder that Mercury is lending a quickening and intellectual influence to already curious, adventurous Sun in Sagittarius. And coming up this Saturday, we have a waning third quarter moon in Virgo, which will advise us to reflect on how things went for us in the past month and make plans, specifically plans to let go of some things, reflect and release. That's coming up in a couple of days here. And we will talk about these things and more in upcoming episodes. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Thursday, November 25, 2021. If you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up here for about 30 seconds so that you can have time to look it over. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.